Konnichiwa everybody, and welcome back to part 2 of the Gamecube collection stock take video, whatever you want to call it. And today we're on the US games, and without further ado we'll start off with Dakar 2, the world's ultimate rally. Now I think this is on the PS2 as well, I believe. No idea if this came out PAL, I can't remember. It's one I've bought in recent years actually, this one. And again I think all these are complete. Now you will notice the US cases are different from the PAL cases. The way they are sort of made inside, you know, all that side bit's different to the UK case. And this side actually. Obviously you can see they're still branded Gamecube like the PAL cases, but they are quite different inside. And the covers on the US games are also different in that the Gamecube logo is at the bottom, whereas on the PAL games they're at the top. So they are different in that. Although they look visually quite similar, they are different in the fact that US are at the bottom, PAL are at the top. But anyway, Dakar 2, that surprised me. I'm sure I bought this cheap. I seem to remember buying it just for the case, to be honest. I'd got a broken case, but then I was surprised how good the actual game was, so I just kept it as, you know, great, or another edition, you know. Good game, Dakar 2. If that is out PAL and it's cheap, I'd definitely recommend that if you like your arcade sort of racing rally games. Good game, Dakar 2. Right, now this next one, a lot of people, it's their favourite game on the Gamecube, and I don't know, it's one I've got. I bought this from Vintage Gamer as well, I think. In fact, I'm sure I did. It's quite pricey on American. I think it's around 30 to 40 quid PAL, is it? I'm not up on PAL prices really, but I think it's around that kind of price. But it can approach double on American. Anyway, I'm talking about Eternal Darkness. Now, I played it when I bought it, and I mean, it was alright. I must have played it for, I don't know, hour and a half, 2 hours, and I thought it was alright, but I thought, what's everybody going on about here? I just can't see what the attraction is here. And I've never played it since. So, I mean, I'm glad to have it, because I know it's a desirable game, and I'm obviously missing something. Maybe I didn't play it long enough, I don't know. Let me know. You know, I've heard people say, you know, it messes with your head, and, you know, on the journey it takes you on. Maybe I just didn't play it long enough, I don't know. But it just didn't do anything for me. I mean, it's in lovely condition. But, I don't know. I'll go back to it one day, probably, and have another go. I'm assuming the US version is so much dearer because maybe the US market's bigger and, you know, there's more demand for it there. You know, I don't know. Or maybe, I don't know if the PAL version's optimised and it, you know, maybe the American version's better because it plays full screen and speed. I don't know. I've never played the PAL version. But I don't know. I'm glad to have it, but I'm very much, yeah, I'm just not that impressed with her. Now this next one, I remember liking this when it came out, and I haven't played this for whenever it came out. I don't know, what, 20 years ago. I've not played it since, and that's Rocky. It's a cool box, isn't it? It makes me think of Rocky 4. You know, what a film. And then it's even got Drago on the back. I mean, but I do remember thinking this was great. I mean, I used to love Rocky on the Master System as well, and still do really. I think it's probably that pop culture sort of link to, you know, these iconic films when you're growing up, isn't it? And Rocky 4 for me, you know, I remember going to the cinema to watch it and I just loved it, the soundtrack. You know, what a film, Rocky 4. So that's Rocky anyway. This next one, it's not my kind of game. I think I bought this because it was cheap, basically. Thinking it might one day rise in price. I think that's the only reason I bought this. And that's Tales of Symphonia. There's a few of these Tales game, I believe, and they're on other systems. A Namco game. I did play it, or start playing it, just to make sure it worked. And I remember thinking it was alright at the time, but it's not my cup of tea, to be honest. Tales of Symphonia. Unfortunately, it's not Skies of Arcadia, that's Mega Money. And I've not got that. Again, I wouldn't play it, so I'm not going to invest in that unless I see it cheap. This one, well, I don't know, the Mega Man collection. I've never been a fan of Mega Man, I should say. Possibly because I never had the NES back in the day. I don't know. I've tried playing it since in recent years, and I can't get on with Mega Man. I don't know what the attraction is. Again, it's much like Eternal Darkness. I'm obviously missing something. It's not for me. But this, I forget how many. Oh, there are 10 Mega Man games on here. So it's obviously Mega Man 1. Oh, Mega Man 1 to 8, and the 2 never before released US arcade games. So there are 10 Mega Man games on here. I can't remember. I doubt I've tried them all. But every one I've tried, it just fails to grab me. I know a few people have said before when I've mentioned I wouldn't go as far as hatred for Mega Man, but my apathy towards Mega Man. Other people feel the same. It must be a kind of Marmite game, this. That's all I can think. It's nice to have. Maybe one day I'll go back and try it again. And then we've got an absolute classic. We've got SSX Tricky. I'm not sure if, going back to that Mega Man, I'm not sure if there's a PAL version to that. There is obviously for this. What a great game. I think this was a launch PS2 PAL game, wasn't it? But I had it on the Cube. What a game. Still great. I think widely regarded as the best SSX game, isn't it? That's Tricky. All those EA big games for me, all the ones I've tried are great. Then we've got another classic for me, and we've got Simpsons Road Rage. I think this is brilliant. I mean, what more can you want than a crazy taxi clown in the Simpsons universe? I mean, does it get any better than that? Fantastic game for me, and I think this is cheap, as I remember. I'm sure this is not a dear game. Just looking what that was there. It's got a few tips, that little piece of paper in the corner there. But yeah, if you like Crazy Taxi, honestly, you need to play The Simpsons Road Rage on something. I think it's on the PS2 and the on the Cube, obviously. I'm not sure if it's on the Xbox. It might be. Then we've got, now this is one I've also got Japanese, and we've got Beautiful Joe. I mean, this isn't bad artwork, but if you watched the previous episode, you'll know I bought the Japanese one for the box alone. What a great game. Looks fantastic, Beautiful Joe, and I don't think it's a fortune. You know, if you like your platform brawlers, you've got to buy Beautiful Joe. And then we've also got Beautiful Joe 2. Again, more of the same. Another cracking game. I think this is a bit more expensive. Now, I really would like this Japanese, but in fact, I don't think I've ever seen it Japanese, so maybe it's not even out, I don't know. But if I ever stumble across it, I'll be buying that Japanese as well. Then we've got a double pack, Pac-Man Versus and Pac-Man World 2. Both good games for me. Pac-Man World's a 3D sort of Pac-Man adventure type, Mario 64 type game, I suppose. And then you've got Pac-Man Versus, which is more like your original Pac-Man. Both decent for me. I don't mind these Pac-Man World games. And then in a similar vein, we've got the Namco 50th anniversary collection, and there are 14 classic arcade hits on here. I love these compilation packs. We've got Pac-Man, Miss Pac-Man, Galaga, Galaxian, Dig Dug, Rally X, Pole Position 1 and 2, Xevious, Dragon Spirit, Bosconian, Rolling Thunder, Mappy and Sky Kid. Now recently, when I went to Arcade Club last week, I played Pole Position as well. Oh, still a classic that is. Takes me back. Glorious times in the arcade when I was a kid. Pole Position. Oh, brilliant. Before better things came about. So yeah, that's nice to have. I'm not sure if there's a PAL version of that, to be honest. Namco Museum. I don't know, there might be. Same with that Pac-Man, I'm not sure if that's out PAL. This is a more recent pickup. This isn't, most of these are from, you know, originally back in, you know, the early noughties when I've had these right from when I've had my system. But this one is a more recent pickup. We've got Dave Mirra BMX2. I must have bought this because it was cheap, I think. Again, it's not the kind of game I'd play. But it's not, you know, it's not too bad. I've had a few goes on it. It's not a bad little game, to be honest. I know there's that BMX Triple X, isn't there, on the Cube? That's not one I've ever tried. But Dave Mirra anyway. And then again, we've got this Japanese. This is my original from new, Soul Calibur 2. Obviously we've got Link in this one. Not much to be said about Soul Calibur. Phenomenal game. It's in the machine actually, this one. Yeah, it's a stunning game. Is the Dreamcast one the best? Maybe, but they're all amazing. Then next we've got Star Wars Rebel Strike. Now, back in the day when these came out, these Rogue Squadron games on the Cube, these looked amazing. It just blew your socks off when you first saw them. The graphics were incredible. It was like playing the film. It was that good at the time, honestly. Star Wars Rebel Strike. Again, this is one I've had from brand new. And, oh, great times. And from new, that also came bundled with a bonus disc at the time. Which is, as you can see, is not for resale. But it was like a package with that game when I bought it new on release. But this has the original 1982 Star Wars arcade on here. There was never a manual with it, it's not missing it. That's how it came. But yeah, it's a preview disc, basically with a Rebel Strike single player demo, and there's some bonus content, concept art, game trailers. But the big bonus here for me was the original 1982 arcade, which is just pictured there on the front, which is the Vector Graphic Classic. Say that quick a few times. And again at Arcade Club last week, I played that original Star Wars arcade. Oh, it's still brilliant. Absolutely lovely cab. Fantastic. That's that anyway. And then we've got the first one. We've got Rogue Leader Rogue Squadron 2. And again, graphics were phenomenal at the time. And to be honest, I still think it looks great today. Again, I've had this one from brand new. Fantastic game. And then another one I've had from brand new, and this is why I kind of, and as I said in the previous Japanese episode, this is why I moved from the Dreamcast to the Cube mainly, because a lot of the Sega stuff you know, that would have been on the Dreamcast ended up on the Cube. And we've got Beach Spikers. I've not played this in 20 years since it came out, but I absolutely loved this at the time. What a great game. I'm sure I completed it, whatever you had to do, I can't remember. I must play it again. Fantastic arcade game. Not much to be said, really. It's volleyball, beach volleyball. Scantily clad ladies. One there for the dads. You can't go wrong with Beach Bikers. It's got to be the best volleyball game ever. And then again, classic Sega, we've got Monkey Ball 2. With all the... There were some different party games on this one, wasn't there? Still, again, I've had this from brand new. Not much to be said. Super Monkey Ball 2, great game. And again, I swapped, at the time, I had the Japanese version brand new with my Japanese cube, but then I eventually got my machine switched so it would play American games as well, and I swapped the Japanese one for this American one. And this is the one I've had from brand new again. And I rebought that Japanese one that you saw in the previous episode, you know, just for the collection really. Great game. I think it works particularly well with the Gamecube controller because you've got that octagonal sort of location within the controller. You know, I think it works particularly well on the Gamecube. And then we've got these are not what I've had back in the day. I've bought them in more recent years. And we've got Sonic Adventure DX. Now obviously this is an enhanced version of the Dreamcast game on the Gamecube. I'm not a fan of Sonic on the Dreamcast. I don't know why I bought this really. I've had it years. I mean, I could have had it at a good price, I don't know. I've possibly bought this because I've only got it Japanese, and for the language I've probably bought this, I think. But I don't know, as the years have gone on, my opinion of Sonic has only gone down. I don't think it's aged well. There's still some fun to be had with the 2D ones, I think, but these 3D ones, they do nothing for me. I'm just not a fan at all. I have no interest in playing them now, to be honest. We've got Sonic Adventure 2. Honestly, they do nothing for me. It don't work in 3D for me, Sonic. They need to can it, but they keep churning them out like nobody's business, don't they? I've just got no interest. Sonic 2. And then we've got an absolute classic, F-Zero GX. Again, this is the one I've had from brand new. That Japanese one you saw in the previous episode is one I've bought for the collection, just because of the amazing Japanese boxes. But this is the version I had and played back in the day. Phenomenal game. Not the cheapest game to buy even PAL, is it, these days, because it's so good. And why the hell have they never made another F-Zero game? If there's ever something that needs resurrecting, it's F-Zero. I mean, it probably wouldn't be any better than this, to be fair, but for God's sake, somebody make another F-Zero game. Rant over. Right, next we've got the 2-game disc of Zelda, the Ocarina of Time and the Ocarina of Time Master Quest. Which, is this the one? Is that the one that was intended for the 64DD? I think. That they released in this double pack on the Cube. I think it was. And there's also some demos on here of F-Zero 1080, the Wind Waker, Wario World, Metroid Prime, and Four Swords. Not the best box, that one, but I've bought that in more recent years. I didn't have that from brand new. Again, this is not one I've had from brand new. It's not really my kind of game again, but I know there's plenty of people love it. And I mean, it is good. I can't, you know, it's definitely a good game. It's just not my bag, really. But, you know, felt like I've got to have it in the collection. to be honest, and it might be something I'll go back and play. It's one of them things I've just never got the time to play these kind of games. And like I say, they're all complete, these. So that's Metroid Prime. I've not got Prime 2. I probably would buy it at the right price. And then we've got Star Fox Assault. And this one is much rarer than the Star Fox Adventures. I've not got Star Fox Adventures. But I'm not sure. I think beyond testing this, I don't think I've even played this. I'm sure this is quite pricey, pal. Because I think it's a later game, isn't it? Yeah, it's 2004-5 on here. It's probably 4 Japanese and 5 when it's come out American and PAL. But wasn't it James at Sweet Radish who did a review vid of this recently, and he said it wasn't that great. I'm sure it was this one he played, and I remember watching. He kind of put me off playing it. But I will try it one day again. Star Fox Assault. The SNES one, even though by today's standards it looks rubbish, I've got, you know, there's a lot of fondness and nostalgia for the SNES version, which I haven't got with the later versions. But that said, I would like to pick up Star Fox Adventures if I see it at the right price on American. Then this is another one I've bought more recently, and it kind of passed me by at the time. I don't know if this is a late game as well. Yeah, this is even later. This is 2005 and 6. So it'd be 5 Japanese, 6 American and PAL, I'm guessing. And we've got Chibi Robo. Now this is a really quite expensive game. I think you're talking at least 100 quid for this. Very unusual game. It's not in the. It's in a PAL case for some reason. This could be why I bought that Dakar 2. I think I bought that box to put this in the correct box, and liked that game so much. I forgot that actually. So this video has been quite useful to me. It's reminded me I need another US Gamecube case. But I'm getting off topic. Yeah, Chibi Robo. It's a very unusual game. You control Chibi Robo, obviously, and you're like this kind of minuscule character within a house, and you're basically cleaning up the house. It's a very unusual game, which is probably why it's so valuable, because it was a late release and quirky, and now it's very desirable. It's one of these that I'm not sure it justifies the price, but it is a cool game. You can't deny that. So if there's some way you can play it, I think it's definitely worth a play. And then again, we've got one I've had from brand new, and that's 1080 Avalanche. Now I'd love the Japanese version of this, but it's real difficult to come by. I don't know why. It must be very scarce in Japan for some reason. Maybe it was a late release or something. I don't know if it didn't come out at the same time, but it's not one you see very often at all. But what a great game. Is it as good as the N64 original? I don't know, it's a tricky one. It's a bit like Wave Race this. I mean, it's very good, but I don't know if I prefer the N64 one, to be honest. But, I mean, I'd imagine this is cheap, pal. And if you haven't got it and you like snowboarding, it's a must buy. And then we've got the aforementioned Wave Race Blue Storm. You know, brilliant game. But if I had to choose, I would always pick the N64. That's just phenomenal. The water effects are unsurpassed. It's brilliant on the N64. To this day, it's brilliant. It's one of the best games ever made. But the Cube version is also great. And then we've got one I've picked up in more recent years, and I think I alluded to before. I'm not a fan of Smash Bros really, but felt I needed this in the collection. Again, I could do with a better box on this as well, to be honest. It's a bit scuffed up. I think a lot of people think this one is the best Smash Bros game, don't they? But I don't know. It does nothing for me. I could do with a better box on that if I can find one. So that's, note to self, that's 2 US cube boxes I need. Then again, this is a more recent year's pickup, and we've got Animal Crossing. This is the Player's Choice version. Not really my kind of game, but again, quite well regarded. The original, well, I say the original, it was on the N64 as well, wasn't it? But in Japan. But anyway, the Gamecube version is very well regarded, and it is the nice version with the memory card as well. I mean, it's good, don't get me wrong. I can see why people play it so much and love it so much, but it's just not my bag, really. But I mean, you can't deny it's good and unique, and I can understand why it's so massive. It's just not particularly for me. But I'm glad to have it in the collection. Again, this is not one I had at the time. I've bought it in more recent years, but quite a long time ago. And we've got Super Mario Strikers, which has got a different name, pal, hasn't it? It's not called Strikers, it's called, is it Smash Football, something like that. But this has gone crazy expensive on American now. I don't know what the PAL version's like, but this version's stupidly expensive in America. So I'm pleased to have bought that when I did, really. I mean, it is a good game, obviously. I've not played this new Switch version. I don't think I'd buy it, to be honest. It's not something I'm going to play. But this is good. For me, the king of this type of game is Soccer Brawl on the Neo Geo, and nothing compares to that for me. But each to their own. It's probably just because I played that back in the day and loved it, and everything else seems inferior. But Super Mario Strikers anyway. And then we've got Mario Golf, and again, this is one I've had from brand new. You can't go wrong with a Mario Golf game. They're all good, I'd say. Well, all the ones I've played, I think I've played them all. There might be one I haven't. I can't remember off the top of my head. But yeah, not much to be said. Great, pick up and play, arcade, golf, Mario. Not more to be said, really. Now, this one I didn't have back in the day, and it was kind of I wouldn't say a grail item, that's an overused term, really. But it was one I was really keen to get hold of for quite a few years. And it never came out, pal. And it can get quite pricey for the American version. The Jap one's really cheap, which I might pick up at some point in the future. But it was Mario Baseball. Actually, I don't know if this is out, pal. I think it might be out, pal. Actually, but it's dear. Yeah, I'm sure it is out, pal, but it's really, really dear. And this American version sits in between the PAL one, and it's closer to the PAL price, but nowhere near as cheap as the Japanese price. But yeah, I was chasing this for years anyway. I didn't want the PAL version because I try not to buy PAL at all, and I'm getting rid of it all now. But I was really disappointed when I got it. I don't know, it just, whether it was the years of expectation and wanting the game, I don't know, but when I got it, it just seemed to fail to deliver what I was expecting. I mean, I don't know what I was expecting, really, but I mean, it's good. It is good, but I don't know. They just felt like there was something missing to me. I've said before how much I love Baseball Stars on the Neo Geo, and this just pales in comparison to that. I mean, it's over 100 quid, I'm sure, for this PAL. I mean, it's not worth that. But I mean, it's great to have it, but it's crazy money. But obviously, there's probably not many about being baseball in Europe, because I can't imagine baseball games sell very well. It's much bigger in America and Japan, isn't it? Hence why it's probably so dear. This next one, again, quite a pricey game, and again, which I bought a few years ago, not way back when. And we've got Paper Mario: The Thousand Year Door. I don't think I've ever played much of this beyond testing it. I was just chuffed to get it really, because again it's gone crazy expensive, this one. Again, I think this is regarded as one of the best Paper Mario games, if not the best, which is probably why it's pricey. But I mean, all Gamecube's going a bit mad, isn't it? So yeah, I do quite like the Paper Mario games I've played. So I must get to this at some point. 2 to go, we're nearly there, guys and girls. Wouldn't be a Nintendo console without Mario, and this is my original Super Mario Sunshine I've had from new. Like I said in the Japanese episode, I played a bit of this when it came out and I did like it, but it failed to grab me. I was just not into 3D platformers at the time. You know, I didn't get into Mario 64, and I didn't get into this particular. Though I did like this more than Mario 64 at the time. It's only in recent years, playing with my nephew, I've got into this and think it is a really good game. It's just it does get annoying, some of the levels. But you know, I do like Mario Sunshine now actually. And then the last one, again I've had from brand new, and it's Mario Kart Double Dash. Now this is, it's a bit nasty with that thing across the front cover really, but it's a special edition including a bonus CD. It's also got French language on it, so I'm assuming this probably come from Canada originally. But yeah, as you can see, it's got a bonus extra disc, which includes, I don't know actually, I forgot. And it doesn't seem to tell you on the box. No, it doesn't tell you. It's been that long since I've tried it, I can't remember. And I'm not sure it even tells you. No, it doesn't tell you either in the bump. I'm guessing it's demos, I would imagine. I don't know. You'd think it'd tell you really. But anyway, I'm assuming it's demos, I can't remember. My memory's not that good. Mario Kart Double Dash anyway. So there you go, that's all my US games, and so now you've seen the entire Gamecube collection. Let me know if you think there's anything I'm missing. There's nothing I'm particularly looking for. There was a few Japanese ones I'm looking for, like I mentioned in that previous episode. Regarding US ones I'm looking for, I'm obviously missing the 2 Zeldas, or 3 Zeldas if you count 4 Swords. I'd probably buy the US Wind Waker, to be honest, if I saw it at the right price. It's not a cheap game, unfortunately, which is why I've never bought it, you know, because I've got it on the Wii U, so you know, I'm never going to play it on the Gamecube, but if I see it at the right price, I'd probably buy it. Star Fox Adventures I'd like to find on American, if possible, and possibly WarioWare maybe. There might be 1 or 2 others when I look through the PAL ones I'm getting rid of. There might be 1 or 2 I need to change for the US ones. But let me know anyway if you think there's any I'm missing there. I'm not into adventure type games, so I don't recommend them. But let me know anyway. But I hope you enjoyed that, found it interesting, and seeing some of the, you know, different box arts and maybe some exclusive. I don't know if there might have been 1 or 2 exclusive there that didn't come out PAL, I don't know. Not that many. There's a lot of first party titles amongst that. But I hope you enjoyed it and found it informative anyway. Thanks for watching, and see you soon. Sayonara.